Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show, San Diego Sports Talk on YouTube. Well, the San Diego Padres do it again after winning Game 2 on Sunday night up at Dodger Stadium. They come back after an off night, and they hang on to a thrilling 6-5 victory over the Los Angeles Dodgers, take a 2-1 series lead with Game number 4 coming up at Wednesday night at 6:08. Man, what a ball game it was. And it really looked like the Padres were going to run away with the ball game early on after Mookie Betts hit that first inning home run off of Michael King. But the Padres came back with a vengeance in the bottom of the second. They plated 6 runs. All 6 runs they scored were in the second inning. The 2 big hits in that inning, David Peralta, a 2-run double, and our man Fernando Tatis Jr. Not only did he hit a 2-run homer, he hit an absolute drive into the second deck at Petco Park. And then the Dodgers, they weren't going to go down lightly tonight. They came back in the top half of the third, and Teoscar Hernandez hit a grand slam off of Michael King, and back and forth all night long, really. Not a whole lot of hitting after that home run by Teoscar Hernandez. Padres had a couple of chances, but the Dodger bullpen was very good. Padre bullpen was good, and we'll break that down as we go throughout the course of the program. But man, what a night at Petco Park. The attendance tonight, 47,744. Ball game took 2 hours and 34 minutes. As always, we're going to take your questions. So if you're out and about and you have some questions for me, boy, there's a lot to talk about tonight. And what is Mike Schilt going to do tomorrow night? How's he going to handle his bullpen tomorrow night? Right now, and we'll talk as we get deeper and kind of preview Game 4, it looks like the Dodgers right now are going to go with the rookie right-hander Landon Knack. But you know what? For the Dodgers, all hands on deck. I mean, guys that pitch tonight, they may have to go in and get a third of an inning tomorrow night or 2/3 of an inning. There's no tomorrow for the Dodgers. And for the Padres, it sounds like they're going to go with Dylan Cease. And Cease would be going, on a little bit less rest. I know that series started on Saturday, so you figure Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably a day short. But again, he didn't go deep into that ballgame. He threw 83 pitches, but couldn't get through the 4th inning. So it looks like the Padres are going to go that direction. Therefore, if there was a Game 5 on Friday night up at Dodger Stadium, Yu Darvish, who was masterful in Game 2, he would get the final game of this series if it goes that far. But we'll have to wait and see. Before we get too far in, I know a lot of people have been asking me about this podcast, and I was on with Paul Rudy on Good Morning San Diego on KUSI today, and I actually did it from home and had my background up, and Paul talked about my podcast. And I know a lot of people are still finding out where the coach is. So if you've been a subscriber and you've been a long time listener to my radio program, please pass the word. Let people know where I'm at. A lot of people were really bummed that I wasn't on the actual radio on Monday because everybody likes to hear what I have to say. Well, you know what? We had a show Sunday night. It was even better than being on the radio Monday because if you tuned into the podcast, you heard my thoughts right after the ball game. And, we don't have to sit around another 8 or 9 or 10 hours. And that's the great thing about the podcast. If something happens, man, I can jump on and we can talk about it immediately. But what I'm saying here, if you know people that have listened to me, please pass the word that we got this podcast, and then please subscribe to the John Kentera Show. Really appreciate it. It doesn't cost anything. Just if you would subscribe. And also, I put this up after it's all said and done. I take the recording after we finish these live shows, and I put it on my Facebook page, which is just at John Kentera, and I put it on my X page, which is at Coach Kentera 44. So if you missed it, you can always go to YouTube and find it, or last resort, you can go to X, Coach Kentera 44, or Facebook page at John Kentera. But I really appreciate it if you subscribe, and please pass the word around. Please pass the word around. Okay, Padres tonight, they win at 6-5. They out-hit the Dodgers 7-6. Dodgers had a big error, and really give Manny a lot of credit. And great baseball move. That's what you're taught. That's what I taught when I was coaching. if the the first baseman has to come in on a ball, make sure you run on the inside part to second base so he's got to throw through you. And that ball deflected off of Manny, kept the inning alive. Everything's going well. I mean, that was a big part of that rally tonight. You got to give Manny Machado a lot of credit. That's a heads-up baseball player by a guy that's been around the block and knows all the ifs, ands, or buts about the game of baseball. I'm not going to get into what went on with the Dodgers and Manny and whether or not he was throwing the ball at Dave Roberts or not. I'll let you judge that. I want to talk about this game. I don't want to take away from this Padre victory tonight. Once again, Padres did a good job. I mean, Michael King did not have a great night. I mean, he's obviously he got the win. He goes to 2-0. But he didn't have his great stuff like he did against the Braves a week ago. He ended up going 5 innings tonight, giving up 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned, a walk, 3 strikeouts, gave up 2 homers. Second batter of the game, Betts took one out. And, man, Profar almost caught that one. Wouldn't that have been something? Mookie Betts, prior to that, was 0 for 22. He was 0 for 22, and he was unbelievably bad over his last, 44 at-bats. He had, 3 or 4 hits. And yesterday, he took 300 swings, which is not very common this time of year. If anything, you back off. But he got the high velocity machine out, and he was working. He swung the bat pretty well on Tuesday. And I had another hit as well. But the Dodgers just didn't hit all that well against the Padre relievers. But Michael King, he threw a cement mixer up there to Mookie Betts, and he took it out of the ballpark. And Teoscar Hernandez, that situation with Teoscar Hernandez, there was 1 out, 1-2 pitch, and King threw an 85-mile-an-hour slider, another one that just kind of spun up there, and Teoscar Hernandez hit it out of the ballpark. I'm wondering what kind of money he's going to get in the offseason. I mean, he had 30-plus homers, drove in 99 runs, had a heck of a year, signed a 1-year deal with the Dodgers. Wants to stay a Dodger. I don't know if they're going to, pay him or what they're going to do, but he's been a big part of their ball club this year. But really, at the end of the day, the Padres, they did a lot of things. And you know what? They got some breaks. There's no doubt. You had some infield hits. You had that fielder's choice where everybody was safe. And then you had Manny's play. So as I used to like to say when I was coaching, hey, the ball bounced our way today. And it did. But you know what? The Padres did some good things. Peralta put the bat on the ball, got that little double out there to the outfield. And then Fernando hit that ball out of the ballpark. And prior to that, Kyle Higashioka, again, in the number 9 spot, contributed, hits sacrifice fly. So the Padres are putting the ball in play. The other thing that I thought tonight, and I had breakfast with a couple of guys today, baseball people, and we were talking about the Padres. And, they certainly wanted my opinion because they know I watch every game, almost every pitch of every game. And sometimes I'll even watch the replay a little bit, if I miss something or I want to see something again. And I said, the Padres are a throwback baseball team. And I was on with my old buddy Bill Werndell today as well in Philadelphia. And I said, the Padres are an old school baseball team. They put the ball in play. They haven't fallen into the narrative that, hey, man, we're just going to go up there, swing from our rear end and see what happens. They put the ball in play. And tonight against Walker Buehler, and I said the other night when Buehler was going to pitch, I go, he doesn't have the swing and miss in his arsenal. He's coming back from his second Tommy John surgery. It's not gone well, and I give him a lot of credit. I thought he went out there tonight, and, he gave up those 6 runs in the second inning, and he hung in there. He ended up going 5 innings. Dave Roberts, I think, would have had the lead. He'd have hooked him after 4, and it had been bullpen by committee. This is a big game tonight. I mean, taking a 2-1 series lead, the best of 5, I mean, this is huge. And the Padres are sitting in the catbird seat now. I mean, the Dodgers are scrambling, and you can see the frustration on the Dodgers. But going back to Walker Buehler, he doesn't have the swing and miss that he once had. I mean, he was a dominant pitcher. He was really becoming one of the better pitchers in baseball until he hurt himself a couple of years ago. And now he's out there. He's trying to figure his game out. His stuff is not that great. He's a free agent. Don't know if the Dodgers will bring him back. But, I was looking when I was writing down his final log tonight of 5 innings, 7 hits, and 6 earned runs. He walked 1. He didn't strike out a batter. And that's not just Walker Buehler. That's the Padres having a good 2-strike approach. And then when I went back and looked at what the Padres were doing in this ball game tonight, Xander Bogaerts put a ball in play. There's nobody out in the second inning. 0-1 pitch, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, put it in play. David Peralta on a 1-2 pitch, puts it in play, gets the RBI double out to shallow right. Kyle Higashioka was ahead in the count 2-1 when he lofted the fly ball to the outfield to bring home David Peralta. And then Fernando, when he hit the 2-run homer into the second deck, it was 0-2. It was 0-2, and he hit a 94-mile-an-hour fastball into the second deck. So, and Victor Rodriguez, we talk about Ruben Niebla all the time, the pitching coach, and deservedly so. Ruben, number one's a great guy. And he's done an incredible job, and he's really got these guys dialed in. But Victor Rodriguez came over from the Indians/Guardians organization as the hitting coach. And, there have been a lot of hitting coaches come and gone. There have been a lot of good hitting coaches that had no hitters to really work with. They were, we know how the Padres were really from after 2010. It got pretty slim there for a long time. And they've gone through a lot of good baseball people, and namely hitting coaches. Well, they bring Victor Rodriguez in, and he got these guys dialed in. They swing more early in the count. They take a lot of first pitches, but they do swing early in the count. And the other thing, two things. Number one, they have a good two-strike approach. They widen their stance. They try to put the ball in play. And probably the biggest thing, when you're not striking out, you're putting pressure on the defense. And with nobody out, you want to get that guy to third base. And I've seen a lot of selfless at-bats this year. Last year, I saw a lot of very selfish at-bats. I mean, now the team is buying in. They want to win, and they're doing little things that you need to do to be a championship caliber ball club. I'm telling you, and I said this a while back, there's no reason why with the pitching staff, and I know Joe's gone for the year, but with what you've got right now, you can win a World Series with 3 starting pitchers. And we got 3 damn good ones. I mean, Michael King's a hell of a pitcher. Dylan Cease, when he's on, he's one of the best in the game. And Yu Darvish, we know what he's all about. You got 3 dynamite starters right there. And then you got one of the best bullpens in all of baseball. There's no reason why they cannot win the damn thing this year. We can have that damn parade downtown. Okay? There's no reason why we can't. They're playing good baseball. They're staying focused. And I'm glad we didn't see any of the hijinks that we saw the other night. Hey, both sides were to blame the other night. The fans in L.A. were to blame. The Padres, some of the Padre players egged it on. That wasn't a good look. And then, whatever went on with Machado and Flaherty and Manny throwing a ball here, throwing a ball there, I don't know. And I really don't know what the Dodgers were thinking about sending the tape to Major League Baseball. And when Paul Rudy asked me about that this morning, I said to him, you know what? Maybe because Manny is, has ownership in the San Diego FC, maybe they're trying to get 2 or 4 season tickets from him so they won't narc on him. I didn't quite understand. Seriously, are you going to send that tape to Major League Baseball, even if he did throw the ball against the net? I mean, you know what? The umpire was there. He talked to him, probably told him, hey, slow it down, big guy. But, I mean, I couldn't believe they actually sent it to the commissioner's office. I mean, that's amazing to me. It really is. But the second inning tonight was amazing. There were a lot of good things. And, again, the ball bounced the Padres' way. But you know what? They capitalized on it. They made things happen. Dodgers, they couldn't do anything right in that second inning. And even some of the balls that were hit, not counting the one that ended up in the second deck, some of the balls that were hit were not hit all that well. But, hey, put the ball in play. Good things can happen. Nothing ever happens good with a strikeout, folks. It's that simple. Okay, let's talk about our sponsor. And I know this gentleman's all fired up. The Grandgetto family, Kevin Grandgetto, he's all fired up. And again, Grandgetto is one of our fantastic sponsors. We love them. We believe in them. And again, I'm going to tell you what, their newsletter's coming out later this week. I would imagine it's coming out later this week. So right now, while you're watching and listening to the program, make sure you sign up for their newsletter. Go to their website, grangettos.com. It's Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply, grangettos.com. Please sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get some great stuff in your inbox. It comes twice a month. They've been in business, folks, for over 70 years. How about this? They started back in 1952. They've got places in Escondido, Encinitas, Fallbrook. And again, you don't stay in business this long unless you're damn good, and they are. Again, Grangetto's very active in the community, a family-owned business. Great story. And the other thing that I like, and I know a lot of folks around San Diego, whether it's in East County or North County, uh, you have livestock. They're really, really involved with FFA, Future Farmers of America. Go to their website, grangettos.com. And if you go into any of their 3 stores, make sure to tell them Coach John Kentera sent you. Again, Grangettos Farm and Garden Supply. And we thank them very, very much for the sponsorship here on the John Kentera Show, San Diego Sports Talk on YouTube. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the starting pitchers tonight. I know I've already touched on it, and I want to get to your questions. I know a lot of people out there want to probably chime in tonight on our chat box, so go ahead and you can start getting those rolling, and we'll get to them shortly. Michael King didn't have his good stuff tonight. It almost seemed like maybe he was a little tired tonight. Maybe, it's stressful, but he goes to 2-0 in the postseason. He was so good in those 7 innings against Atlanta a week ago where he didn't give up anything and didn't walk anybody and struck out 12. Tonight, 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs. So, maybe tonight, maybe he's a little bit gassed. You're not going to be great every time out. But you know what? He hung in there for 5 innings and he get to the bullpen. Walker Buehler, I give him a lot of credit. He doesn't have a whole lot in his toolbox right now. And I've watched every one of his starts, and he's been awful. I mean, he was awful during the regular season. And I thought he went out there tonight, and not that he had great stuff, but you know what? I've seen him before where it gets frustrated and it goes from bad to worse. And I got to give him credit. He had some intestinal fortitude out on the mound tonight and really did what he could to stay in the ball game. What was interesting, Dave Roberts came out with 2 outs in the 5th inning. And I was kind of surprised that Dave left him in. Dave came out, talked to him. I figured, man, you got to go to the bullpen here. You can't, the runner on, you can't give up a ball in the gap or a ball out of the ballpark. It'd take you out of the game. But Dave Roberts went out and talked to him and gave him a confidence builder, and he got out of the inning. And so he went 5 innings tonight, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, a walk, no strikeouts. Of course, gave up the bomb to Fernando. But, overall, he hung in there. I mean, both pitchers were not great tonight. But you know what? They gave their team innings, and it gave both teams an opportunity to use their bullpens. Padres had to use their frontline guys a little bit more than the Dodgers tonight. But tomorrow night, it's all hands on deck. If I'm Mike Schill, I'm going to do everything possible with an off day on Thursday. I'm doing everything possible not to go back to L.A. And Dave Roberts, on the other hand, tomorrow night will be doing everything possible in his power to get the series back to L.A. Tomorrow night, as much as we were looking forward to tonight's game, after everything that went on at Dodger Stadium on Sunday night, tomorrow night's game is going to be really interesting. Really interesting. It's going to come down to some big choices and who is willing to stick with their starter maybe longer than the other guy, or maybe one guy's got a quicker hook than the other guy. It's going to be interesting. Be very interesting tomorrow night. I want to give the Padre bullpen a little love tonight. And I'll be honest, and I think you're probably here with me, folks. As much as I like Robert Suarez, I was a little nervous him coming in tonight. Not so much in the 8th inning with 2 outs after Tanner Scott retired the first couple of guys he faced, but that 9th inning. And you know what? He ended up striking out Max Muncy, got a first pitch ground ball by Will Smith, had a tough go against Gavin Lux, but Lux eventually struck out. I mean, really, Robert Suarez looked really good tonight, really good. Inning in a third with a couple of punch outs, did a really nice job. But Jeremiah Estrada came in a high leverage situation. And man, I looked away from the TV. Next thing you know, the half inning was over. He threw 13 pitches, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Jason Adam came in. I thought threw the ball. He threw the ball well, 15 pitches in his 1 inning with a punch out. In 15 pitches, 11 of them were strikes. And then Tanner Scott came in and went 2/3 of it and he looked really, really good, striking out Ohtani on that high fastball. I think it was a fastball. It almost looked like a slider, but it was up in the zone, and they called. I think it was a fastball. Uh, at the end of the day, the bullpen was fantastic. Dodger bullpen was good as well. Anthony Banda, an inning and a third. Daniel Hudson came in, did his job, and Michael Kopech came in, did his job. So, the bullpens for both ball clubs performed very, very well. No question about it. I want to get to a lot of your questions, so you can start rolling those to me right now. I want to talk a little bit about one of our other great sponsors. And how many of you out there have bought a home? How many out there have sold a home? You know what? It can be a real pain. It can be a real pain. But you know what? You want to alleviate a lot of the stress and pain. You get a hold of my friends at yourreliablehomebuyers.com. Go to their website, yourreliablehomebuyers.com. Fantastic people. You make sure to tell the folks there that you listen to the John Kentera show. And what they're all about, comprehensive real estate services. Reliable home buyers, they offer full spectrum of real estate services, buying, selling, financing, which is a real pain, I can tell you that, and even purchasing old homes and ugly homes for that matter. They will do that. And you know what? The great thing, they'll give you cash. I mean, if you need to sell a home because you need cash, maybe you're moving out of state and you got a home somewhere else and you want to sell your home here, you want to get cash, get a hold of my friends at yourreliablehomebuyers.com. Two ways to do it. You can give them a call bright and early tomorrow morning, and everybody's going to be having a little extra bounce in their step in San Diego after that big Padre victory tonight, 6-5 over LA. Give yourreliablehomebuyers.com a call tomorrow at 858-422-4116, 858-422-4116, or you can visit them at their website, yourreliablehomebuyers.com. And thank you very much to Your Reliable Home Buyers for being a part of our program. Okay, a game 4 starters. The way it looks now, and again, there's a lot of jockeying for position on this one. It looks like the Padres are going to go with Dylan Cease, and the Dodgers are going to go with the rookie right-hander. He's 26 years of age, throws the ball pretty well. Landon Knack, he was 3-5 during the regular season, a 3.65 ERA. Dylan Cease on the year, 14-11, 3.47. And you recall in game 1, he went 3 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, gave up that big 3-run bomb to Shohei Ohtani. And the other thing, it took him 83 pitches to get 10 outs. And this is where the Dodgers can just devastate a ball club. And we'll see if they have to change their approach or if Cease is a little bit more on tomorrow night, getting ahead in the count, getting one of those first 2 pitches over for a strike. If not, they're going to work him, and they're going to work him hard, and they're going to try to get rid of him before he gets to the 5th inning. They did a great job last time. And the thing about Cease, he gets a little flustered every once in a while. You can see it out there on the mound. And then he starts to try to do more, and he starts to try to miss bats. I know he had over 200 strikeouts this year, but sometimes less is more. And he has a tendency to overthrow and try to make that perfect pitch when you don't need to make a perfect pitch. You just need to hit your location and change speeds. And hopefully he's able to do that tomorrow night. But it looks like right now it'll be Landon Knack, a right-hander, going for the Dodgers. And again, it's going to be Johnny Holstaff for the Dodgers. And I think pretty much for the Padres. They know they've got Dylan Cease out there tomorrow night, and they know Yu Darvish would pitch game 5 on Friday night at Dodger Stadium. Now, on the other hand, with Landon Knack going to be probably a bullpen game. He can go 4 or 5. He could go deep in the game. But, it kind of depends the score situation, hitters coming up. Dave Roberts will empty the tank with that bullpen. And of course, the Padres also, if they want, they got Martin Perez, who was a lot of people thought was going to start the game on Wednesday night, but it looks like he'll be the long man in the bullpen. He'll be pretty much the long man, or maybe a situational left-hander. Padres got a ton of left-handers down there, with Tanner Scott and Adrian Morahone and Yuki Matsui, and you've got Martin Perez down there. And Wandy Peralta. So they got plenty of left-handers to go around down there in the bullpen. And the Dodgers, if they get to a game 5 on Friday, they're going to go with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who had his struggles like Dylan Cease did in game one. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Okay, I want to tell you a little bit about some of the other playoffs that went on today. And then if we have some questions out there, people wanting to weigh in tonight, I'll be more than happy to take those. Today in NLDS Game 3, how about the New York Mets at Citi Field taking down the Philadelphia Phillies 7-2? Out hit them 9-5. Pete Alonso, another home run. Jesse Winker homered. Starling Marte had a 2-run single. Jose Iglesias, 2 for 4 and a couple of RBIs for the Metropolitans. And our old buddy Sean Manaea, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Boy, what a year Sean Manaea had for the Mets. Done a really, really nice job and has had 2 very nice postseason starts to date. Okay, I'm going to give you the matchups for tomorrow. We got 4 games tomorrow on Wednesday, folks. Hump Day, we got 4 baseball games. Starting at 12:08, ALDS at Comerica Park. Game 3, series tied 1-1 between Cleveland and Detroit. Cleveland going to go with 37-year-old right-hander Alex Cobb, the former San Francisco Giant, got traded at the deadline. 2-1 on the year and a 2.76 ERA. Going against 26-year-old rookie left-hander Brant Hunter, 6-1 and a 2.58. And again, that series tied at 1 apiece. Second game tomorrow, 2:08 NLDS. Game 4, Philadelphia and the Mets at Citi Field. It'll be 29-year-old left-hander Ranger Suarez, 12-8, with a 3.46 ERA, going against 35-year-old left-hander Jose Quintana, 10-10 on the year with a 3.75. Quintana, in his first postseason appearance this year, he had a no decision in the wild card round against Milwaukee, but pitched very well. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts. Mets won the game 4-2 in game 3, and that eliminated the Brew Crew. The third game tomorrow at 4:08. It'll be at Kauffman Stadium in the ALDS Game 3. That series tied at 1 apiece. New York Yankees will send 28-year-old right-hander Clark Schmidt, 5-5 and a 2.85 to the hill against our old buddy, 34-year-old right-hander Seth Lugo. The Royals, he had a heck of a year, 16-9 with a 3 even ERA. And then, of course, tomorrow night at 6:08, Game 4, NLDS Padres going against the Dodgers. Landon Knack, 3-5 and a 3.65, going against right-hander Dylan Cease, 14-11 and a 3.47. So we'll see how that works out. We got any questions out there? Dial them up to me. I wanted to mention a couple of other things, folks, in baseball today. The first one, Luis Tiant. I woke up this morning. Luis Tiant passed away. He passed away at the age of 83. El Tiante, a Cuban right-hander, 229 victories in his big league career, 172 losses. Listen to these numbers. And he got like no love from the Hall of Fame. He's in the Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame. But 229 and 172, 3.30 ERA. He had 2,416 strikeouts, 3-time All-Star, 2-time American League ERA leader. Check this out. This will never happen again. He had 187 complete games and 484 starts in the big leagues. He had 49 shutouts. And I think a lot of people, older baseball fans, or maybe you've watched highlight reels over the years, Tiant patented delivery, turning his back to the hitter at times with a little real hesitation. We used to go out as kids and try to imitate Luis Tiant. And you know what? For some pitchers that tried, it probably didn't help them a whole lot. It probably hurt them. But he was a special guy, extremely well-liked man, and a great teammate from what I understand. He pitched for 6 major league teams: Cleveland, Minnesota, Boston, the Yankees, Pittsburgh, and finished up in 1982 with the California Angels. So Luis Tiant passed away at the age of 83. And one other note, a personal note, our buddy Buddy Black, who does the best job he can with not a whole lot there with the Colorado Rockies. Buddy was extended through next year, so he'll be back behind the fence there at Coors Field another year. He's been there 8 seasons right now, a record of 537, 657. They lost 101 games, but you know what? They don't have any players, and more than anything else, they love Buddy there, and they play hard for him. As long as guys are playing hard, I think he's going to have a job, but they need to get him some help. But, his first 2 years there, they made the playoffs. I mean, that's the only manager that has taken the Rockies to the playoffs 2 years back to back, and that was in 2017 and 2018. So I sent Buddy a little note today congratulating him, and we're going to get together here before too long. Okay, we're going to start rolling on some of these questions. I love this. This is the best part of the show. I can sit here and talk baseball all night long, but I want to hear what you have to say. That's why when I put out my tweets and put things on Facebook, this is a show, folks, for the fans. Okay, a lot of these talk shows, they don't want to hear from you. They don't want you to call their show. Okay, I love it. I love every minute of it. Okay, the law, thank you very much. You didn't have to do that. We appreciate it. Very, very much appreciate that. Blood in the water. Let's go. Couldn't agree more. I think Mike Shildt tomorrow night has to manage this like it's Game 7 of the World Series. I don't want to go back to L.A. I don't know about you. I mean, I'd love to watch a baseball game on Friday night, but it doesn't have to be the Padre-Dodger game. Even though, can you imagine a Game 5 in L.A.? Holy Toledo. That would be unbelievable. I mean, every one of these games has been incredible. I told Paul Rudy today when he asked me, I said, the only thing that I'm disappointed about in this series, I wish it was 5 out of 9. In fact, I wish they played the entire month of October. I mean, I love when the Padres and Dodgers hook up. Okay, I just love every minute of it. And even the nights we get beat, I'm looking forward to the next day. But no, I think Mike Schultz got to manage this like the 7th game of the World Series. You got an off day on Thursday. Man, let it all hang out. All right, Kevin in Chula Vista, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. Now, I haven't heard anything. I'm sure, they're going to wait and see how he shows up at the ballpark, and I know he's probably getting treatment right now. But, he ended up, popping up in that last at bat. Man, he's going to play. I'm not even worried about it. I mean, unless he hit it off his shin bone or his ankle, man, he's playing. He'll play with a calf injury, believe me. Even if he couldn't play third, he'd DH. By the way, nice job by David Peralta getting a big knock tonight in that 6-run second inning. That was big. But I think Manny's good to go. Coach, Cease tomorrow. What do you think? Well, I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you, Jesus. I'm nervous, and thank you very much for the contribution. Very much appreciate that. I'm concerned because he has a tendency to try to do too much. And this could be a great growing experience for him. And you know what? And I know he's a veteran, but he hasn't pitched at this level with this type of intensity in his career. Tomorrow night could be a great, great learning experience for him. It really could. And this is when guys start elevating their game. You either elevate or you go down to the basement. I want him to go to the penthouse tomorrow night. I don't want him to go to the basement. I don't want him to stay by the check-in counter, okay? I want him going up to the penthouse, okay? I don't want him to have to go down to the lower level and take a less accommodation tomorrow night. He's got to go out there and get the job done, and he needs to attack hitters and quit trying to miss bats. Go out there, trust your stuff. And anytime I say trust your stuff, I think of all the nights I spent with Randy Jones at Lolita's down there by the ballpark. And Randy and I used to talk about this till we were blue in the face. You got to trust your stuff. That's what got you there. Dylan Cease has got the best stuff on the staff. I don't care. And as much as I like Michael King, Dylan Cease has more electric stuff. I mean, Michael King's a fantastic pitcher. He got tremendous stuff. But Dylan Cease has electric stuff. But he tries to do too much. And he overthrows, and he tries to chip away. And you chip away once you're ahead in the count. Get ahead of the count. Challenge people with your fastball. Challenge them with your slider. Don't get beat with your second or third pitch in a critical situation. All righty, Big Sam. Hey, Coach, what a great game. King looked good. Other than the one inning, what did you think about the bullpen? Good to see Suarez back at it. Hey, Sam, I love the bullpen. Bullpen looked good. I was really impressed tonight. Of all the bullpen guys, and you got to give Suarez credit because he got 4 outs. But that inning, when they took King out and they brought Jeremiah Estrada in, I thought he was fantastic tonight. I really thought that was a big moment in this ball game because they got King out of there, even though he didn't have his great stuff. He was hanging in there, but I thought Suarez was fantastic. They were all none of them gave up anything. I mean, nobody gave up any runs. And the bullpen in general was fantastic tonight, but I really was impressed with Estrada. Really kind of set the tone the remainder of the game when he came in behind King there in the sixth inning and mowed him down on 15 pitches, I think it was. I wrote it down. Yeah, he threw, 13 pitches and had 2 strikeouts and looked good doing it. So, Sam, we'll see you tomorrow night. Going to be very, very interesting to see what goes on with our Padres tomorrow night. Alberto, Crony woke up a little today. Oh, Alberto, you're right there, buddy. He had an infield hit. He had that little hit out there to left field. And I wrote down Cronenworth going into tonight's ball game was 0 for 13. Alberto, you and I had as many hits as Cronenworth had going into tonight's ball game in the playoffs. How about that? And you know what? We didn't have any at-bats. He had 13, but he got 2 tonight. He went 2 for 3 tonight. So that good for Jake. Maybe that'll get him going. He's still – his swing, his elbow comes up, and he's fan. You got to stay on top of the baseball a little bit. Kevin and CV, thank you very much, Kevin. Man, I'll tell you what, I appreciate that. I'll be able to buy lunch one of these days. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. C should be on a short leash. I agree. I agree. Like I said, I think Mike Schultz got to manage the ball game like it's the 7th game of the World Series. And Darvish can go 2. Then maybe Perez. You know what? I'm not messing with Darvish because Darvish is going to be my starter on Friday night if needed. Perez would be the long guy. If Cease had to come out early, then Perez is the long guy. But you know what? Yu Darvish is going to be over there sipping Gatorade, talking to Joe Musgrove, and just hanging out and watching the Dodger hitters. He's not picking up a baseball tomorrow night after the game starts because he's going to be my starter on Friday night if I need him. And if I don't need him Friday night, then he's probably going to start game 1 of the NLCS as long as we get there. That's the way I see it. But I do agree with you, Kevin. I think you got to have Cease on a short leash because you've got the off day. Now, if they were playing back-to-back, it would be different. You'd have to mix and match your bullpen and protect this guy or whatever. But, hey, you don't want to go back to L.A. You don't want to go back to L.A. You want to have some time off. You're hoping that you can win tomorrow, and you're hoping Philadelphia can win tomorrow and extend that series to where you can get a little advantage over whoever you would play in the next series. But we'll see how it goes. Ashlyn Carter, Higgy got that sac fly that ended up being the winning run. You know what? At the end of the day, anytime you drive in a run, it's huge. I'm going to look at my sheet on that because, and of course, Tatis hit that home run. And remember, Tatis hit that home run the way it broke down. Kyle hit the sac fly to make it 4-1, and then Fernando hit the 2-run homer after that, Ashlyn. But you know what? Kyle Higashioka, and I don't know what his future is going to be here in San Diego for next year because he is a free agent. But you know what? He's one of these guys. I always watch players, Ashlyn, and there's no doubt he can still play. I mean, he did a really nice job. I mean, he had a career high 17 home runs during the regular season, and he's already done some major damage in the postseason. But I look at a guy like Kyle Higashioka. Of course, I'm kind of partial to catchers. He's the type of guy you want to stay in the game of baseball, whether it's 2 years from now, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. You want a guy like that to stay in the game of baseball. And I know when he got traded to San Diego, he was the longest tenured Yankee player, not on the Yankee major league team, but in the entire organization. He's very well thought of around baseball. Good guy. We know he's a big guitar player. We've heard all about that. But, if he wants to stay in the game of baseball, he will have an opportunity. But, Ashlyn, I'm glad you brought him up. It gave me an opportunity to talk about him a little bit. How about the Dodger bullpen? Credit where credit is due. Bullpen did a great job. I mean, Anthony Bonda came in, inning in the third, threw the ball well. Daniel Hudson came in. Kopech, fell behind a couple of hitters, but, ended up throwing the shutout inning. And we didn't even see Blake Trinan or Evan Phillips tonight. I mean, Dodgers got a great bullpen. I've said this before. I think the Dodger bullpen is more consistent. We didn't see Alex Vesey either, kid from Alpine. Their bullpen, I think, is more consistent, but I think the Padres have more electricity coming out of that bullpen. That's the way I see it. And if you're a Dodger fan, you're probably thinking, "No, what's this guy know?" But I watch the Dodgers almost as much, if not more, than the Padres, depending on when they're playing and who they're playing. And I know the Dodgers pretty damn well, and I know how to pitch to Ohtani. I think better than most people. I'm not going to say it on the air, but Ohtani's got a hole, but people are afraid to attack that hole because if you miss, that ball's going 450 feet. But he does have one major hole. Every hitter has a hole, to be honest with you. Okay, Jonathan, Coach, I was nervous after that grand slam. What a roller coaster of a game. Let's finish them tomorrow. Well, I'll tell you what. Could you imagine if we were sitting here tonight talking about the Padres blowing a 6-1 lead and getting beat, 7-6? That would have been awful. I mean, where would everybody be? That'd be all over Mike Schilt. That'd be all over everybody, and whoever gave up those other couple of runs. And you know what? That's going to happen. It's baseball, folks. It's like I mentioned earlier. Padres in the second. They got a lot of breaks tonight. They got a lot of breaks. I mean, I think one of the really key plays in this ball game, and I don't know how much the national people are going to talk about it, but Manny having the wherewithal and a good baseball fundamental on that ball hit to Freddie Freeman. Freeman had to come in on the ball. He wanted to make the throw to second, and Manny, rather than just running straight, he went to the inside and got hit in the shoulder and then went straight into the bag. That's good baseball play. Not everybody would think about that. Some guys just run to second base. They don't think about it. Manny knew the situation. People can say what they want about Manny Machado. Manny Machado knows how to play the game. He knows how to play the game. It's that simple. And he's done stuff like this for a long, long time. But people don't pay attention as they think about home runs or making a great defensive play. That was a key part in this ball game tonight. And I hope it's not being overlooked by a lot of good baseball fans out there. And I would hope Alex Rodriguez and Big Papi and the whole crew, I would hope on television, I hope they pointed that out because that was a big play and it was a heads-up play. And Manny deserves credit for that. I mean, they able to cut down Manny at second. Who knows? They may have got out of the inning without anything. You start pitching guys a little bit different. That was big. Let's go. A. Visser heading home on the trolley from the game. Great night, LFGSD. Hey, A. Visser, get home safe. I appreciate you weighing in tonight. Good stuff right there. Good stuff. And I'll tell you what, the trolley all of downtown is crazy. I mean, the Naughty Barrel, Bubs, the whole place down there, they got to be going crazy. Michael, question, Coach. Those fans made me proud to be a San Diego native. I wonder if Dean Spanos watched the game thinking, wow, that is what a home field advantage is all about. That could have been them. Hey, you know what? I don't know if Dean Spanos watched. Probably not. He's probably out, at a country club or, doing something. But you know what? The Chargers had a home field advantage. They had a home field advantage. I mean, anytime you came to Qualcomm Stadium, fans were great. Hey, you know what? They didn't leave because of the fans. The fans here in San Diego are great. They supported that Charger team. Even when they knew they were going to move, they were still supporting them. I got a lot of respect for Charger fans, the San Diego Chargers. And I know there's still people from San Diego that go up there to L.A., and more power to you. I'm not wasting a Sunday driving to L.A. to watch the Chargers play. It's that simple. I'm sorry. If I could go to a Lakers game occasionally because I love the Lakers and, you don't get that many opportunities, I'd go up there. And I went up there last year. There's a basketball game tonight in San Diego. It was sold out, that new Front Wave Arena in Oceanside. They had 7,500 folks up there tonight. Brooklyn against the San Diego Clippers. I'm looking forward to going to that. Strike Force are going to play there. I'm fired up about it. That's going to be kind of cool. And I got a lot of great memories at the old San Diego Sports Arena. But, Phil Salvaggio, who I actually worked for, he was one of the owners of the Sockers. He was the coach of the Sockers, but I was the president of operations and general manager of Sockers for 6 years. And in fact, I was, along with Phil, Phil and I were the first two guys to go look at that land up there at Front Wave, what turned out to be Front Wave Arena, an $85 million arena. The fans are great. You got to give them a product they can get behind and treat them right and be fair. And I give the fans a lot of credit. I mean, the ticket prices to go to a ball game are just astronomical. Astronomical. It's amazing. Amber Bennett, props to Schilt. I agree. And I think you got to also give props to AJ Preller. I think they've worked very, very well together. That was another part of a conversation I had today at breakfast with a couple of baseball people. They were asking me what I thought about AJ and Mike Schilt, and I go, hey, Mike Schilt wanted the job. AJ Preller, him and Bob Melvin butted heads. It was like two Rams butting heads, okay? And Preller, he had the bigger straw. And Bob Melvin ended up leaving. AJ didn't want him back. Just so you know, AJ didn't want Bob Melvin back. And it turned out the Giants needed a manager, so it was easy for Bob Melvin to go there because AJ didn't want him back. And anything you hear else in the media is garbage. They can say, oh, yeah, Bob was invited back. Bob wasn't invited back. They didn't want him back. Okay? I know that for a fact. And I don't sit here and, make up stories. I'm too busy and I think too professional to make up stories like some people do. I'm not going to do that. But Padres didn't want him back, or I should say AJ Preller didn't want him back. But, hey, to AJ's credit, he got a guy that he can work with. He got a guy that he can work with and a guy that the players respect in Mike Schilt. And AJ's done a great job of getting talent in here, namely the bullpen, rebuilding that bullpen. They drafted Jackson Merrill, but nobody in their world ever thought Jackson Merrill would do what he's doing right now. Nobody. Jackson Merrill probably didn't think that. I mean, this guy's had an incredible year. Well, O2RR, thank you very, very much. I certainly appreciate that. And happy to see them beat LA before I hunker down for Hurricane Milton. And you know what? My prayers out to everyone in Florida. And I know we probably have some folks online tonight listening to my program because I used to get those type of calls on my radio show. I've got some friends down there that actually own property, and some of them live there part time. They're batting down the hatches. They're very, very concerned. So O2RR. I pray for you and everybody in the state of Florida right now. I'm hoping it breaks up is what I'm hoping. But being subscribed to your channel and following Padres helps me stay connected to my hometown. Go Padres. O2RR, thank you very much. And from time to time here, we'll be on tomorrow night. Kind of keep us posted how you're doing. I'd really like to stay in touch with you, but really appreciate the nice contribution. You didn't. We appreciate that a great deal. All right, what do we got now? We got Kevin and CV. Kevin, thank you very much. Don't look now. Tatis replacing Ohtani is the main man narrative on TV. Well, let me say this. When FS1 starts saying when Tatis is coming up like they do with Ohtani 6 batters away. And, I'm kind of joking because what Ohtani did this year, I love Ohtani. I love him from a baseball standpoint. A lot of you know that I did a lot of research on Ohtani before he ever came to the United States because I was working for John Boggs, the agent. And I did all kinds of stuff on Ohtani. And he's a fascinating man. And it's just all about being the greatest baseball player in the world. Every day he wakes up, that's what he wants to be. How am I going to be the greatest baseball player in the world today? Well, yeah, I got news for you. He wasn't the greatest baseball player in the world today. Our guy, Fernando Tatis, has been the best player in the world since this series started. And Fernando's getting his due. I'll tell you, nationally, the Padres are not a well-liked team. They're not a well-liked team because the way they jump around and Fernando does his little skip over there at third base. They're not real well liked. but they're our team. Okay. But you know what? That's fine. If teams are going to worry about what Fernando's doing or what Manning's doing or what Profar's doing, great. Just keep beating their ass. And when they start thinking about, beating you and not worry about, what you're doing or what you're saying, then it's a different matter. But I can tell you, knowing the way baseball people are in the media, Padres are not well liked. And one of the reasons they're not well liked is because if you go back to after the COVID year where the Padres, got swept in the second round by the Dodgers in the NLDS, the following year they had the Padres going to be, just ass kickers, and the Padres fell on their Johnson. And it made a lot of guys in the media irritated. They were not happy about that. And then you had that big meltdown at the end of the year. It didn't go well. And then, you had Fernando getting the 80-game suspension when they were trying to make him the face of baseball. But the Padres are not really well liked around baseball. And you hear the media. They don't go out of their way to, prop up the Padres. And they probably never will because we're considered a mid-market. And you got the big bad bully up the freeway 120 miles. But that's the way it is. Niner Trump. I'm a Giants fan rooting for you guys. Beat LA. I ran into another Giants fan tonight before the game. And he goes, man, I sure hope the Padres can win. I go, I didn't know you were a Padres fan. He goes, hell, I'm not. I'm a Giants fan. I don't care who the Padres or who the Dodgers are playing. Whatever team they're playing, I'm rooting against them. So tomorrow night, folks, by the way, we're going to be back in tomorrow night. We'll be back in tomorrow night, and we'll, break it all down. And who knows, tomorrow night we may be popping the champagne on this program. Neil, how crazy would it be if the Mets and Pods meet this year after they were projected to last year? I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Phillies have a hell of a team. I really do. But I got to tell you, and I was telling somebody yesterday when we were talking about the playoffs, and I talk to baseball people like a lot. And a lot of people call me and say, hey, how you doing? Are you doing okay? Yeah, I started a podcast. It's going really well. Everybody's worried about how I'm doing. I'm fine. Loving what I'm doing. These podcasts have been incredible. I'm really enjoying them a great deal. And we're going to keep them going after baseball's over. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll end up at the winter meetings. Radio stations aren't going to spend the money, but you know what? We get a couple of sponsors. Who knows? We may be at the winter meetings this year. We don't know yet. But we're going to try to keep up with everything. And if you're a San Diego sports fan, this is going to be the show to come to. Okay? And you can always ask me questions, and I'm always going to give you the honest answer. I'm not going to sugarcoat things, but how crazy would it be if the Mets and Pods meet this year? I see it. I mean, the Mets are that team right now. They're kind of like the Padres. I think the Padres have more talent. I think the Padres may have better pitching overall. I definitely think they got a better bullpen. And Edwin Diaz has not been great in the postseason. But both teams seem to be on that path right now to get to where they need to go. And we'll see what happens. Tomorrow's going to be a great day, folks. We got 4 ball games tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Padres hold on to the 6-5 win tonight over the Dodgers, take the 2-1 series lead. And again, I ask you, if you would, please subscribe to our podcast. It doesn't cost anything. And again, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera, and you can follow me on X at Coach Kentera 44. And again, please spread the word. I'd very much appreciate that. That'll be it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking in with your questions. Thank you to everyone that contributed to the program. We really appreciate any and all that you do. And we'll do this again tomorrow night. And hopefully, just hopefully, we're celebrating a Padre victory, moving on to the NLCS for the second time in 3 years. Until tomorrow night, Coach John Kentera, thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you tomorrow, everyone. Bye-bye.